to another live stream here, another college basketball live stream here on YouTube at Sports Bonanza John and on Kick at Sports Kick John. Getting ready for some action in the A10 tonight. Fordham and St. Louis. As both teams get ready for this A10 matchup, we will preview this game momentarily. First of all, let's pray. Lord Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for doing your will upon us, Lord. And please look over all these players and fans tonight. Please keep everyone safe, players, trainers, fans, all. Please keep everyone safe, and please continue to do your will and look among us all, Lord, as we ask and pray this in your name. Amen. All right, St. Louis and LaSalle. St. Louis, one of the hottest teams in the country right now. St. Louis enters this game on a 9-game winning streak. They have not lost since the Acrisure Invitational Championship game. That was back over Thanksgiving weekend, a 1-point loss to Stanford in the championship game. That was the last time the Billikens have lost. Fordham, meanwhile, comes in having snapped a 3-game losing streak this past Saturday as they defeated St. Bonaventure 81-77. So Fordham looking to keep the momentum going after that win over the St. Bonaventure Bonnies. This is a St. Louis team this season, 15-1 on the year. They are the first team outside the top 25. They are at number 26 this week. This is a St. Louis team that scores just shy of 93 points a game. They have 5 players averaging in double figures. Robbie Avila, their leading scorer, just shy of 13 points a game. Dion Brown averages just under 12. Trey Green at 10.9. Amari McCautry, 10.8. And Quentin Jones averaging 10.6. Those are the 5 double-digit scores on the season for the Billikens. Meanwhile, for Fordham, they don't score nearly as good as the Billikens do. They average 73.5 points a game. They also have 5 players averaging in double figures. DeJour Reeves, 17.5 points per game, the leading scorer. He's coming off a 31-point outing in Fordham's win on Saturday against St. Bonaventure. So Fordham and St. Louis looking to stay undefeated in A10 play and run their winning streak to 10 in a row coming into this game tonight. Let's take a look at the starting lineups tonight. First, for the Rams of Fordham, coming in at 10-7 on the season, 1-3 in A10 play. They will start up front with number 12, Rikus Schulte, a 6'9 junior out of Germany. At the other forward for Fordham is number 13, Akira Jacobs, a 6'10 junior out of Japan. So a lot of foreign players on this Fordham team. In the middle for Fordham is number 3, Jack Whitbourne, 6'11 sophomore out of Australia, another foreign player for Fordham. In the backcourt, number 30, Christian Henry, a 6'3 senior out of Chicago. And the leading scorer for Fordham, number 2, DeJour Reeves, the other guard, a 6-foot senior out of Syracuse, New York. Under coach Mike Magpeo for Fordham. So it's Schulte, Jacobs at the forward spots, Whitbourne in the middle, Henry and Reeves in the backcourt. Starting lineup is as follows for the St. Louis Billikens, coming in 15-1 on the season, 3-0 in A10 play. They line up this way. Up front at the forward position is number 11, Brady Dunlap, 6'7 sophomore out of Studio City, California. In the middle for St. Louis, number 21, Robbie Avila, 6'10 senior out of Oak Forest, Illinois, transfer from Indiana State. One of the guards is number 1, Quentin Jones, 6'5 junior out of Chicago. Another guard, another one of the highest scorers we told you about, number 4, Amari McCautry, 6'6 sophomore out of Milwaukee. And the other guard is number 13, Dion Brown, a 6'3 senior out of Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Under head coach Josh Schertz in his second year at St. Louis has his team on the cusp of the top 25 at 15-1, number 26 in the AP poll this week. As this a very, very good Billikens team as they look, as I said, to stay unbeaten in A10 play and run their winning streak to 10 in a row coming into this game tonight. And this is a St. Louis team outside of their one loss. And actually, both those games in that Thanksgiving tournament, the Acrisure Invitational, they have not exactly had their share of close games, though both those games in that Thanksgiving tournament were 1-point games. Outside of that, St. Louis's tightest game was last Wednesday at VCU, 71-62. It's a 9-point win. That's been their closest game outside of those two 1-point games. And St. Louis also coming in number 24 in the net rankings. So this a St. Louis team. They can score the ball. They can beat you anyway. And boy, are the Billikens going to make a threat here at 15-1 on the season. I told you Fordham coming in. They snapped a 3-game losing streak on Saturday with the 81-77 win at St. Bonaventure. DeJour Reeves, 31 points in that game for Fordham as they look to get back on track and start another winning streak. They had a 4-game winning streak earlier in the season to mid to late November. And then had that tough start in conference play, the 0-3 conference start, losses to Dayton, Richmond, and George Mason before getting on the board in the win column in conference play this past Saturday at St. Bonaventure. So we are just about set to go from Chaffetz Arena in St. Louis between the Billikens and the Rams. Only meeting in the regular season between these two teams. If they meet again, it would not be until the A10 tournament. Following this game today, Fordham will be back at home on Saturday as they entertain Duquesne in an A10 matchup. St. Louis will stay at home on Saturday as they will take on the Richmond Spiders. Well, Fordham and St. Louis, again, one more time, let's run down the starting lineups for these teams. Excuse me, I'm sorry. For Fordham, it's going to be Schulte and Jacobs up front, Whitbourne in the middle, Reeves and Henry in the backcourt. For St. Louis, Dunlap is the forward, Avila is at center. The 3 guards, Jones, McCautry, and Brown, the starting 5 for St. Louis. Billikens 15-1 on the season. Fordham 10-7. As the lineups are being introduced at Chaffetz Arena, one of the finest arenas, not only in the Midwest, but I think in the country, very underrated. It's not a super, super old arena. And they have come out tonight to support the Billikens as it is a good crowd on hand on a Wednesday night. St. Louis coming out in their home white uniforms with the blue lettering and the blue numbers. Fordham will come out in the darker jerseys tonight, as it will be a center jump to get this one going tonight. Fordham in the maroon jerseys. As I said, the maroon jerseys with the white letters and the white numbers. And the tip-in was controlled by the Billikens, underway on a Wednesday night in St. Louis. This is Quentin Jones with the ball on the outside. Quick pass to McCautry, right back to Jones. Gives it off to Dunlap. Bounce pass back outside to Jones. Jones looks for room. Jones sends it back outside. Avila with an open three at the top of the key. That's no good. Rebound pulled down by Fordham. And here come the Rams for their first possession. This is Akira Jacobs on the outside. Gives it off to Whitbourne. Fordham working it around the outside arc here. Shot clock down to 7 for the Rams. On the drive, layup up, that's short. Rebound pulled down by St. Louis, so both teams empty on their opening possession. And at the other end, a missed dunk by St. Louis. And back comes Fordham. It was a long pass ahead, but a missed dunk on an alley-oop attempt. And now Christian Henry has the ball for Fordham. And he'll back it out. Near the Billikens logo at midcourt. Now Henry goes inside. And a tough pass, but the shot is up and good by Jack Whitbourne underneath the basket. For the first 2 points of the night, they belong to the Fordham Rams. It's 2-0. With it now for the Billikens is Quentin Jones. Pass inside to Avila. Avila with a nice feed and the reverse layup up and in by Amari McCautry to get the Billikens on the board. And we are tied 2-2. Nearly 2 minutes old here in this first half. Open three on the outside is Schulte, but he passed it off. And a bad pass inside is taken away by St. Louis. And an open three-pointer off the back rim, no good. Rebound pulled down by Fordham. So the Billikens waste a fast break opportunity there off the turnover. And now Henry dribbling at quarter court. Henry on the drive, looking for room. Henry at the foul line will pop and miss off the back rim. Rebound pulled down by Amari McCautry. So a slow offensive start here in the game's first 2.5 minutes. Avila finds McCautry back outside to Avila, who will work it over in the corner and a missed three-pointer. As Dion Brown can't connect from the outside. Henry now with it for Fordham. Gives it off to Reeves, who will back out. Over to Schulte for three, around the rim and out. Offensive rebound for Fordham. Put back no good, and this time Avila pulls down the rebound for St. Louis. Game still tied at 2. Pass inside, a dangerous pass, and now a three-pointer in front of the Fordham bench is no good. Rebounded by Whitbourne of Fordham. So the Billikens starting just 1 of 6 from the floor. Here comes Fordham now. Henry passes over to Reeves. And we are going to have our first foul of the game. It's going to be an offensive foul, a push-off on DeJour Reeves. Billikens 2 inbound off the offensive foul from Fordham. Quentin Jones brings it up the floor for the Billikens. Nice ball movement in the corner. A three-pointer is good by Brady Dunlap, who finally gets the Billikens on the board with a three, and the Billikens lead for the first time at 5-2. Up the floor comes Fordham. This is Schulte. Gives it off to Christian Henry. Henry on the drive. Henry will pop for three, and he hits it. Christian Henry with a three-pointer from the outside will tie the game at 5. Billikens bring it back the other way. Quentin Jones with the dribble. Finds Avila. Avila with the bounce pass. Lost it, however. And the ball still loose on the floor. Avila picks up the loose ball. And somehow the Billikens maintain possession. And we've got a push off underneath on Fordham. This one's going to go against Rikus Schulte, his first. And that brings us to our first timeout. Sluggish offensive start for both teams as we are 5-5, 4.5 minutes into this first half. Fordham starting just 2 for 6 from the floor. St. Louis 2 out of 7 from the floor. Updating the A10 scoreboard, VCU is just about to pick up a win. They're about to close out Rhode Island on the road with 29 seconds to go. VCU up 8 in that one. St. Joseph's has a 5-point lead on St. Bonaventure in the second half. Richmond leading LaSalle by a half dozen, 48-42. That game underway in the second half. And the other A10 game today between Davidson and George Washington. Davidson up big in that one, 47-31 in the second half. And top 20, got a few top 25 teams in action. Purdue, number 5, in a little bit of trouble at home against Iowa. That game is tied at 64 with just over 5 minutes to play in that one. So Purdue getting a battle at Mackey tonight from the Iowa Hawkeyes. So here it is a 5-5 game as the Billikens will inbound underneath their basket. It'll be Brady Dunlap to inbound for St. Louis. Inbound it comes to Quentin Jones, to Avila. Avila goes inside and sends it back outside to Dunlap for 3, and it's good. Second 3 for Brady Dunlap. He's got a half dozen early on for St. Louis. And the Billikens have a 3-point lead, 8-5. 5 minutes into the first half. Billikens with it here on the outside is Henry. At the top of the key now, Jacobs gives it off. Here's a three-pointer that rims off. Offensive rebound put back no good for Fordham. And this time the rebound's pulled down by Avila of the Billikens. Inside the paint, open three-pointer. That is too strong. Can the Billikens save it? Yes, they do. Great hustle by St. Louis on the offensive glass, and the layup will not drop. Rebound to Fordham. So good hustle to keep that possession alive, but the Billikens just couldn't get the rebound and the layup to drop. And now Fordham back the other way. This is Schulte trying to back his way inside against Avila. Schulte continuing to back his way in. Now turns and shoots with the right hand. That's too hard. Rebound to St. Louis. Fordham now just 2 for 10 from the floor. Avila has a three-pointer, and it goes. Robbie Avila with his first 3. And it's 11-5 St. Louis. Marcus Green bringing the ball up for Fordham. He just checked in at the timeout. Off to Henry. Henry back over to Green. Green on the drive. Green has it blocked from behind by Quentin Jones. Quentin Jones went up and just blocked that from behind. And Fordham will inbound under the basket. Inbound it comes to Schulte. Schulte takes a long 2-point shot and hits it. Rikus Schulte with his first field goal. And it is an 11-7 lead for St. Louis. Three-pointer on the way, Quentin Jones. That's too hard, but an offensive rebound and reverse layup putback is good. 13-7 St. Louis. Fordham with it now. And a pull-up jumper is going to go down. 13-9 now the score. Jones with it for the Billikens. Into Avila. Avila inside, backs it back out, and the Billikens will reset. Avila will try a three-pointer and hits another one. That's his second three. Billikens starting to heat up from three-point range. They're now 4 for 9 out there, and it's a 16-9 lead for St. Louis. DeJour Reeves with the ball for Fordham. Outside it goes. This is now Jacobs. Jacobs to Louis Lesmond, and Lesmond lost it going up. Billikens come out with it, and back comes St. Louis the other way. Jones trying to back his way in, sends it across the court for an open three-pointer, and the Billikens hit another one. This time it was Kellen Thames with a three, and that's going to lead to a Fordham timeout. St. Louis heating up from the outside as they're now 5 for 10, and they have built the lead to 10, 19-9 over Fordham. And this will be the under 12 timeout with 11:54 to play in the first half. So after a slow offensive start, the Billikens starting to find their rhythm offensively. 7 of 15 from the floor, 5 of 10 from three-point range. Fordham just 4 for their first 12 in this game. 3 early turnovers in this game for the Rams as well. So this is something that Fordham's going to have to avoid. We know the kind of offense St. Louis has. Fordham's going to have to not get themselves in an early hole, but they find themselves in one right now. A 10-point deficit. So Fordham somehow going to have to get in a little bit of an offensive rhythm here. Reeves has been held down so far by this Billikens defense in the first 8 minutes, just 2 points after scoring 31 on Saturday. Now have a final from the A10, the first final from the A10 tonight. VCU has won at Rhode Island 84-75. So VCU picking up a conference win on the road. So out of the timeout here, Fordham in a 10-point hole. Let's see if they can find a little bit of an offensive rhythm here. Try to get back in this one. Fordham to inbound out of the timeout and almost threw it away on the inbound pass. The Jacobs will bring it up. With it now is Reeves on the outside. Reeves working it around, finds Lamont. Lesmond, or rather, and then we have a foul underneath on St. Louis. First foul of the game on the Billikens. This one's going to go against Paul Otinho. And Fordham will inbound underneath the basket. Inbound it comes, and a three-pointer is good. Off the inbound for Akira Jacobs. So now all 5 starters for Fordham are in the scoring column. 19-12. At the other end, Billikens trying to answer with a 3. That one comes up short. And rebound pulled down by Fordham. And a chance to get closer. Reeves up the floor here for the Rams. Reeves looking for help, finds Jacobs. Jacobs outside to Lesmond. Lesmond driving, trying to drive, now finds over Jacobs. Reeves with it now at the top of the key. Reeves will lean in and shoot at the air ball. Rebound pulled down by St. Louis. And Kellen Thames inside and gets it to go. Kellen Thames with 7 off the bench for the Billikens. And it's 21-12. St. Louis by 9. As we approach the midway point of the first half. And a layup at the other end is good for DeJour Reeves. That's his second field goal. He has 4. And the lead back to 7 for St. Louis, 21-14. Working it, and a three-pointer is off the back rim, no good. And an over-the-back foul on St. Louis on the rebound. This one's going to go against McCautry. Fordham a chance to get closer in this one. They're down by 7 as we've just passed the midway point of the first half, and now we have a reach-in foul on St. Louis. This one's going to go on Dion Brown. So 3 quick fouls here on the Billikens. Fordham to inbound. And then it comes to Brown, or Henry rather. And this time Fordham's going to turn it over. Fourth turnover for Fordham will give the ball right back to St. Louis. And a bad pass and a turnover for the Billikens. Fordham back the other way, and that is knocked out of bounds by St. Louis. It will stay with Fordham. Christian Henry to inbound for Fordham at quarter court. Inbound it comes to Reeves. Back over to Henry. Henry on the drive. Gives it off. And a layup is good for Jacobs on a great feed from Christian Henry. Found Jacobs underneath the basket cutting. And Fordham's within 5 at 21-16. And this is going to be an offensive foul on a moving screen against St. Louis. That'll be number 2 on Paul Otinho. So Otinho will probably have to come out here with the 2 fouls as Avila returns. Fordham brings it up the floor. It's Christian Henry dribbling across the midcourt stripe. Henry gives it off to Jacobs. Jacobs finds Jack Whitbourne. And now back on the outside, Christian Henry. Henry stops, pops for three, and good. Christian Henry with his second three, and Fordham's within two at 21-19. 10-2 run in progress for the Rams. McCautry at the other end for St. Louis. McCautry looking for help, finds Avila, right back to McCautry. Shot clock down to 7. Avila on the drive with the left hand. That's too hard. Avila cuts up to the loose ball, but can't get it to go, but he gets fouled under the basket. Couldn't get the layup to drop, but he will head to the free throw line for 2. Avila with 6 points in the game so far. He will have 2 free throws. First of 2 up and good. Quentin Jones returning to the lineup for St. Louis. He will replace Amari McCautry. As Avila hits the second, he's got 8 points. Billikens' lead is 4, 23-19. Here comes Fordham. DeJour Reeves with it. Gives it off to Christian Henry. And here comes a 3-point shot. Good! Louis Lesmond with a 3-pointer, and this is a 1-point game with 8 minutes to play in the first half. Nice battle back from Fordham from that 10-point deficit. Billikens back the other way, working it around. This is Jones. And a foul on the drive inside will go against Fordham. And that brings us to the under 8 timeout. Fordham on a 13-4 run as they are within 1 of St. Louis, 23-22, 7:45 to play in the opening half. Well, I told you a few minutes ago that Purdue was in a battle at home against Iowa, but Purdue is going to pull that out as they have pulled away late as they lead by 9 now with under a minute to go. So Purdue's going to escape that one and stay undefeated in Big Ten play. Georgia in a battle as well. The number 21 Georgia Bulldogs up 63-61 on Ole Miss. Georgia basketball team does not want to have the same thing happen to them against Ole Miss as the Georgia football team did in the college football playoff. Of course, Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl knocked Georgia out. Of the college football playoff. So Georgia men's basketball wanting to send a little bit of revenge to Ole Miss. Updated stats in this one. Fordham is up to 50% shooting, 9 of 18. They are 4 for 7 from 3-point range. Meanwhile, St. Louis, 8 of 19 shooting for 42%. 5 of 12 from 3-point range at 42%. Only a couple free throw shots so far. Those were by St. Louis. Early rebound edge in this game for Fordham, 11-9. Christian Henry leading the way early on for Fordham with 6 points on a couple 3-pointers for him. Robbie Avila with 8 for St. Louis, leading the way for the Billikens so far. Well, St. Louis jumped out there 19-9, 8 minutes in. Fordham had to take a timeout, but a great answer for the Rams as they are on a 13-4 run since that point. To pull within 1. Fordham to inbound under the St. Louis basket. Billikens putting on the slight press here, but Fordham's going to have no problem breaking it. DeJour Reeves on the outside for Fordham. Off to Christian Henry. And an open three-pointer for the lead is too strong, but an offensive rebound by the Rams. And a fresh 20 on the clock. Reeves for three. Back rim, no. Another offensive rebound. Missed put back to it. Tip, no. And finally, the Billikens come down with the rebound. 4 chances at the basket that trip for Fordham, and they come up empty. Avila finds a man in the corner for three, and it's good. Dion Brown with a three-pointer in the corner, and the Billikens lead back to 4, 26-22. Now Fordham the other way. This is Schulte inside. Schulte backing his way in. Lost the basketball. He just lost the handle on it, looked like. Fast break for the Billikens. Layup, no, but a foul. As Quentin Jones was fouled and will head to the free throw line. Foul will go on Lewis Lesman. That's his first. And to the free throw line for St. Louis goes Quentin Jones. First of 2 up and good. Brady Dunlap and Ishan Sharma returning into the lineup for St. Louis. One more free throw coming for Quentin Jones, and it is up and good. And the lead back to a half dozen for St. Louis, 28-22. A little bit of press again, and a near turnover, but Fordham is able to maintain possession, and now Henry will bring it up the floor. Over it goes now to Schulte. Bounce pass inside to Henry. Henry gets free underneath the basket with the right hand, but can't finish. Another offensive rebound for Fordham. That's now 6 offensive rebounds for the Rams. Whitbourne underneath, guarded by Avila. Whitbourne turns. Whitbourne can't get it to go. Rebound pulled down by St. Louis. And on the drive, layup attempt is no good by Jones, but he will head right back to the free throw line as he got fouled by Rikus Schulte. That's going to be Schulte's second. And Quentin Jones, who hit 2 free throws a moment ago, is heading right back there. First of 2 is up and good. Jones hits them both. Billikens 6 for 6 from the free throw line, and their lead back to 8, 30-22. Christian Henry to bring the ball up for the Rams. Henry guarded on the outside by Dunlap. Henry drives inside and now gets cut off. Henry looking for the shot, puts it up with the right hand too hard, but another offensive rebound and putback for Jack Whitbourne. Whitbourne has 9 rebounds in the first half. 4 of them on the offensive variety. It's 30-24. Avila inside. And send it back outside, and a three-pointer is up and good. Another three-pointer for the Billikens, their 7th of the first half. And it's 33-24. Christian Henry. Inside it goes to Whitbourne. Whitbourne stripped and lost it. Billikens with the steal. Dunlap. Underneath pass. Reverse layup is good by Quentin Jones. That's his first field goal. And just like that, the lead balloons to 11 for St. Louis, 35-24. 4:20 and counting to play here in the first half. DeJour-Reeves with it for Fordham. DeJour-Reeves on the drive, trying to go over Avila. That didn't work. And rebound pulled down by the Billikens. Avila looking for help and finds it. Back now to Avila on the outside, and a deep three-pointer is good again. Ishan Sharma from way back behind the three-point arc, and the lead balloons to 14, the largest lead for the Billikens here in the first half. Timeout called. 3:48 to play in the first half. Billikens up 14 now, 38-24. 15-2 run right now for St. Louis. After Fordham had cut it to 1. Boy, the Billikens are just lights out. 8 of 15 from three-point range, 53%. Overall, Billikens shooting at 52. Fordham down to 38% shooting. Billikens getting all sorts of balance. Robbie Avila with 8 points. Kellen Thames off the bench has 7. 6 points apiece for Brady Dunlap, Quentin Jones, and Dion Brown. Just balance all around for the Billikens. And for Fordham, 21 of their 24 points have come from the starters. They only have 3 points off the bench. That was a three-pointer by Lewis Lesmond. So Fordham, right when they get back in the game to cut it to 1, bang, we're seeing what this St. Louis offense has done all year long. This is why this is an offense that scores well over 90 points a game. Once they get hot, it is hard to stop them. The only thing St. Louis can point to right now is they have given up 7 offensive rebounds to Fordham. Fordham is winning the rebound battle. So following the timeout, Fordham will inbound the ball. Fordham going to try to get this down to about the 8-point mark by the half, if at all possible. Rams bring it up the floor. Whitbourne with it on the outside. Now over it goes to Christian Henry. Henry on the drive. Henry gets cut off and has to send it back out. Now Whitbourne with it. Whitbourne gives it off to Marcus Green. Marcus Green almost picked up the pivot foot. Shot clock's down to, they're going to put something on. They don't get a shot off. It's a shot clock violation. That is not what Fordham wanted out of a timeout. And Fordham turns it over for the 7th time. Quentin Jones brings it up the floor for St. Louis. Jones finds Kellen Thames. Thames on the drive. Thames off the glass. No. Rebound Fordham. With the basketball here is Reeves. Reeves puts it high up off the glass, counted, and a foul. DeJour Reeves with a bucket and one, and he'll have a chance for a three-point play. Foul is whistled against Brady Dunlap. And trying to complete the three-point play here for Fordham is DeJour Reeves. Free throw up and good. 38-27, Billikens up 11, 2:40, and counting to play here in the first half. McCautry going up, shots blocked. Back comes Fordham, open three in the corners, an air ball. Rebound pulled down by St. Louis. What do we have here? St. Louis lost it out of bounds, so it's going to go to Fordham. Off-balance shot in the paint is short. Rebound pulled down by St. Louis. This is Jones with it on the outside. Jones driving. Jones under. Tried to get it to Avila, but the ball's loose. Jones picks up the loose ball. And out of a double team, gets it off in a dunk for Kellen Thames. I have no idea how Quentin Jones got that ball over the Thames, but he somehow did, and Thames with a monster dunk, 40-27. Pull-up jumper by Reeves is short. Rebound St. Louis. McCautry with it. He'll bring it up. Gives it off to Avila. Minute and a half to go, first half. Quentin Jones. Jones, nice pass again, and finds the cutting Thames underneath. Thames with 11 off the bench here in the first half. He is the leading scorer for the Billikens. And the lead is 15, 42-27. Reeves. DeJour Reeves gets inside. Turnaround jumper is good. That gives him 9. 42-29. Under a minute, first half. McCautry with it on the Billikens logo. Billikens had a chance to go 2 for 1 here, but they've let the clock tick down too far for that now. Avila gives it off, and a layup is good again for Thames. That's the third consecutive layup Thames has gotten underneath the basket. Billikens are going to use their use it or lose it first half timeout here. 44-29, St. Louis over Fordham. 25.3 seconds to play in the first half. Wait, how about Kellen Thames? 13 points off the bench here in the first half for the Billikens. And the Billikens are up to 56% shooting from the floor. So Fordham will be able to get the last shot of the first half here. Thames, 13 points, has come on 6 of 7 shooting from the floor. So here comes Fordham to bring it in. Billikens do have a foul to give here, so they can be a little aggressive if they want to. Bringing it up across the midcourt stripe is Whitbourne for Fordham. Now off to Christian Henry, who's just holding the ball out at quarter court. Now dribbles to his right. Down to 10 seconds. Henry still out at quarter court. Now Henry will drive. Henry puts it up with the right hand off the front of the rim. No good. Whitbourne the follow, and he is fouled. Another rebound for Whitbourne. And he was fouled by Avila. That's his first. And Jack Whitbourne heads to the line for Fordham. First free throw up and long. First miss for either team from the free throw line tonight. Whitbourne will have one more. 2.3 seconds on the clock. Whitbourne's second up, and that one is good. 5 points for Whitbourne. 2.3 to go for the Billikens. They get it in, and the half-court heave, that's good if it goes. It's off the backboard, and that's how the first half will come to a close at Chaffetz Arena in St. Louis with the Billikens looking to run their winning streak to 10 in a row. They lead it at the half over the Fordham Rams, 44-30. St. Louis closed that first half on a 21-8 run in the final 12 minutes of that first half. And the Billikens enjoy a 14-point lead going to the locker room at 44-30 over the Fordham Rams. So we came into the night here in college basketball. We came into the week with 6 undefeated teams. Actually, going into last Saturday, we came in with 6 undefeated teams. Michigan lost on Saturday, which dropped us to 5 undefeated teams here at the beginning of the week. We lost another one last night as Iowa State fell for the first time last year. Iowa State was thumped at Allen Fieldhouse at Kansas last night. So we are down to 4 undefeated teams in the country. Number 1, Arizona. They play later on tonight at home against their state rivals from Arizona State. We have number 8, Nebraska, who just absolutely walloped Oregon last night to stay undefeated. Vanderbilt coming in at number 10. They're about to tip off here in just a few minutes in Austin against Texas. And the 4th undefeated team, the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio. Talk about a good offensive team. That Red Hawks team, they are 18-0 as they walloped Central Michigan last night. So that is the 4 undefeated teams remaining in college basketball. So the question is, will we have a team go undefeated in the regular season? My guess is probably no, but remember that Kentucky team from a few years back that was undefeated up through the Final Four when they were finally beaten by Wisconsin. That was a loaded Kentucky team and a team that a lot of people thought could run the table, but it was not to be. Not really realistically had a team threatened since that point for an undefeated season. It is now a final. Purdue has held on to beat Iowa 79-72. That got a little scary there for Purdue for a little while. But they do win it. And 44-30 here at the half. St. Louis is in front of Fordham. Got an A-10 game going down to the wire in Philadelphia between St. Bonaventure and St. Joseph's. That is a 2-point game in favor of St. Joseph's with 30 seconds to go. St. Bonaventure was defeated by this Fordham team this past Saturday. Davidson's been leading George Washington throughout. They are still leading George Washington by 13 with 4 minutes to play. It's now a final. Richmond has defeated LaSalle 74-53. So let's take a look at the top 25 scoreboard for today across college basketball. Mentioned one of the 4 undefeated teams, number 1, Arizona. They're in action against Arizona State. That game tips off at 10:30 Eastern time or shortly thereafter. Number 4, Michigan, coming off their first loss of the season, a home loss to Wisconsin on Saturday. They're on the road out west to take on the Washington Huskies. That's also a 10:30 Eastern time tip. Told you number 5, Purdue, defeated Iowa 79-72. Number 6, Duke. They have to make the cross-country trip to Cal in that ACC contest. That game tips off in a couple of hours, 11 o'clock Eastern time. Game just about to tip off very shortly in Austin. I told you about this one too. Another one of the undefeated teams in the country, number 10, Vanderbilt. They're in Austin to take on the Texas Longhorns. Number 11, BYU in action. They will host TCU. That game coming up 11 o'clock Eastern time. Underway in Evanston between number 13, Illinois, and Northwestern. Northwestern leading early in that one, 14-11. Number 14, North Carolina, just about to tip off out west in Palo Alto against Stanford. Number 15, Texas Tech, also just about to tip off. They're at home against Utah. Number 17, Arkansas, trying to bounce back as they got whipped at Auburn this past weekend. They're at home against South Carolina. Number 21, Georgia, in a tight one, leading Ole Miss 80-77. That game has just over 4 minutes left in it. And a newcomer into the top 25 this week, number 23, Utah State. They tip off in about an hour at home against the Nevada Wolfpack in that Mountain West battle. Running down some of those top 25 scores from yesterday. It was number 12, Michigan State, defeating Indiana 81-60, the final score. We told you about number 2, Iowa State, falling from the ranks of the undefeated as they were waxed at Kansas last night, 84-63. Number 3, UConn, wins a tight one last night at number 25, Seton Hall, 69-64. Number 7, Houston, all over West Virginia last night, 77-48. Told you about number 8, Nebraska, staying undefeated as they walloped Oregon, 90-55. Number 16, Virginia, 79-70 win at number 20, Louisville last night. Number 18, Alabama, 97-82 win in Starkville over Mississippi State. Defending national champions, number 19, Florida, 96-79 win at Oklahoma. Number 22, Clemson, wins at home over Boston College last night, 74-50. Number 24, Tennessee, it took double overtime before they knock out Texas A&M, 87-82. One ranked team in action tomorrow, and that is the number 9 Gonzaga Bulldogs. They will be in Pullman to take on the Washington State Cougars. And the only ranked team in action tomorrow. Looking at some scores of interest over the weekend, we have got a big college basketball game coming up on Saturday in Nashville. If Vanderbilt can beat Texas tonight, they will stay undefeated, and they will have the defending national champion, number 19, Florida, coming into Nashville on Saturday. So a huge matchup. Even if Vanderbilt doesn't stay undefeated, that's still a big matchup. Here it is 44-30 at the half in this game. St. Louis leading Fordham. Let's run down some of these stats from the first half. Fordham ended up shooting 38% from the floor, 12 out of 32. They were 4 of 10 from three-point range at 40%. They only shot 3 free throws in that first half. They made 2 of those. For the Billikens, 15 of 27 shooting from the floor, 56% in that first half. They were 8 of 15 from 3 at 53%. Perfect 6 for 6 at the free throw line. Rebound edge went to Fordham in that first half, 18-14. 9 of those 18 rebounds on the offensive variety. A little bit of an issue in that first half for Fordham was turnovers. They turned it over 7 times. St. Louis turned it over 4. Scoring in that first half for the Rams, they were led by DeJour Reeves with 9 points in that first half. 6 points out of Christian Henry. 5 points apiece from Akira Jacobs and Jack Whitbourne. 3 points for Louis Lesman. That's the only 3 points off the bench in the first half for Fordham. 2 points out of Rikus Schulte. So 27 of the 30 points for Fordham came from their starters. Meanwhile, for the Billikens, their leading scorer came off the bench, Kellen Thames, 13 points in that first half. For St. Louis, for Thames, he averages 9.9 a game, so he's already well over his season average. So St. Louis came into this game with 5 players averaging in double figures. We may have just added a 6th with this first half that Kellen Thames had. 13 points for him off the bench. 8 points out of Robbie Avila. 6 points apiece from Brady Dunlap, Quentin Jones, and Dion Brown. 3 points out of Ishan Sharma off the bench, and 2 points for Amari McCautry. Quiet first half for him. He was just 1 of 5 shooting from the floor. Billikens turned it over 4 times in that first half. So they did a little better job protecting the ball than Fordham did. And all that leads up to a 44-30 lead at the break for St. Louis over Fordham. So can Fordham get back in this? They got back in it early on in that first half. They had cut it to 1 before the Billikens found their offense and pulled away a little bit there at the end of the first half. Got more college basketball for you coming up tomorrow night on the live stream, as going to have some Conference USA action on the live stream tomorrow night. Going to take a look at the 13-3 Liberty Flames as they will be at home against New Mexico State. That will be on the live stream tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Eastern Time start on that one for New Mexico State and Liberty. Liberty pretty much always the king of the crop in Conference USA. This year looks like it may be no different. So that is the game coming up on the live stream tomorrow. New Mexico State and Liberty out of Conference USA. Teams back in their benches. They are getting ready to start the second half. Fordham to inbound as we are underway in half number 2. Outside with it is Schulte. Finds over to Reeves. Reeves finds Jacobs. Jacobs underneath the basket. Over to Henry. Henry can't get it to go off the glass. Rebound pulled down by St. Louis. So Fordham misses their first attempt of the second half. But a bad pass here by the Billikens, taken away by Fordham, and a fast break opportunity. Instead, they kick it back out. Henry gets cut off as well. Good job getting back and defensively here for the Billikens. And we are going to have a foul. Going to go against Dion Brown. That's number 2 on Brown, and the first foul of the second half against St. Louis. Fordham to inbound here is here's Whitbourne. Goes to Reeves, outside to Henry, back over to Reeves, who pops a three-pointer. That's going to be off the front of the rim, and it gets the friendly bounce. It looked like it was going to be short, but DeJour Reeves got the friendly rim and the friendly bounce, and it's 44-33. McCautry with it. And now the drive inside with the left hand, and the reverse is good for Quentin Jones. That gives him 8. 46-33 lead for the Billikens. Minute and a half old, second half. DeJour Reeves with the basketball. Now to Henry, back over to Reeves. And finds a man in the corner in front of the Fordham bench. Three-pointer, no good, but guess what? Whitbourne, another offensive rebound. And a nice pass inside and a rejection underneath by Amari McCautry. McCautry with the rejection. Now McCautry has an open three, and it's good. Amari McCautry gets the block at one end and gets an open three at the other. 16-point lead for the Billikens, 49-33. Reeves gives it off, and a three-pointer for Fordham. That's no good. Rebound, Robbie Avila for St. Louis. Over to Brady Dunlap. Avila has a three. That's around the rim, no good. Tip won't go. And the Billikens save it. Underneath, pass is knocked out of bounds by Fordham. It will stay St. Louis ball. Dunlap to inbound underneath the Billiken basket. And it comes to Quentin Jones. Jones looking for room. Jones gives it off to Avila. Avila thought about the three, passed it up. And now gives the ball up. The layup is way too strong. Rebound pulled down by Fordham. Christian Henry gets cut off as he will reset. Outside for a three is Jacobs. No good. Offensive rebound is blocked underneath. And back comes St. Louis the other way. Dunlap will lay it in. And he's got 8 points. And the Billikens have their largest lead of the night at 18, 51-33. Whitbourne on the outside gives it off to DeJour Reeves. Inside the paint, wild shot, and that's nowhere close. And that is all Fordham out of bounds. It's going to go to St. Louis. Well, that was a wild shot that was put up, and it was nowhere near the basket. And the Billikens will have a chance to build this lead to 20. Brady Dunlap going to the bench. Looks like he's holding his left wrist. I don't know if something happened or what there, but probably going to take a look at him out there. Although here he is back in, and he bricks a three-pointer. Rebound pulled down by Fordham. But it looked like Dunlap was going to the bench. It looked like he was holding that left wrist. But he ended up staying in the ball game. This is Whitbourne, guarded by Avila. Whitbourne, the turnaround off-balance shot's too strong off the back rim. Rebound pulled down by Amari McCautry. McCautry goes all the way, but can't get it to go. Rebound to Fordham. Spin move inside and a near turnover, but Fordham able to get to the loose ball. Henry throws it up and banks it in. Are they going to count that? Yes, they are. That will bring us to a timeout. I think they're going to count that basket. 51-35, St. Louis. 15-20 to go, second half. We'll get the official call when they come out of the timeout, but I thought that basket was good. I thought I saw an and one signal by one of the officials. Fordham still not shooting the ball well, 33%. St. Louis still over 50 at 53%. So if it is a good basket, it'll be a 3-point play opportunity. An update on that top 25 game between Ole Miss and number 21 Georgia. That game is heading to overtime. We'll keep tabs on that game. So coming out of the timeout here, that was a good basket. Reeves is at the line to try and complete the 3-point play. I thought I saw an and one signal given. Or I'm sorry, excuse me, Christian Henry. And he completes the 3-point play. And it's 51-36. Billiken lead is 15. At the other end, McCautry lays it in off the glass. So that gives Mari McCautry 7 now. And it's 53-36 St. Louis. 5 minutes old, second half. Here's Marcus Green on the outside with the ball for Fordham. Guarded by Dunlap. Green on the drive, gets cut off, sends it outside. Boy, McCautry is just daring Henry to shoot a 3 from the outside, and he does, and McCautry bumped him on a 3-point shot. Boy, McCautry was just daring Henry to shoot a 3-pointer, and Henry went up in the air, and McCautry bumped him on the shot. This is going to be 3 shots at the free throw line for Christian Henry. So Christian Henry goes to the line for 3 free throws. McCautry picks up his second foul. I think the officials are over-reviewing to make sure that was a 3 to see if it was a 2 or a 3 on the shot. I thought it was a 3-point shot in real time. So Christian Henry at the line for Fordham. He's got 9 points in the game. First free throw is short. It was a 3-point shot. Second of 3 is up and good. One more coming for Henry. Missed it. He only hits one of the three at the line. Rebound pulled down by St. Louis. A near turnover that time, but Avila retreats to the loose ball for the Billikens. Top of the key three-pointer, no. Rebound to St. Louis and a foul underneath. Kellen Thames picked up the loose ball, picked up the offensive rebound, and he got fouled when he was trying to go back up for the shot, and he will head to the line. Josh Schertz, the Billikens head coach, discussing something with one of the officials. Thames' first free throw is no good. That's the Billikens' first miss from the line tonight. Sharma returned to the lineup for St. Louis. Second free throw for Thames. That one is good. 54-37. Billikens in front. This is Henry bringing the ball up for Fordham. Henry will pop a three. That's no good. And Fordham will try to save it. The official takes a tumble on the end line. It looks like he's okay. It's going to stay Fordham ball. Fordham to inbound from underneath the basket. It's Christian Henry to inbound it. And it comes for an open three-pointer. That's no good by Akira Jacobs. It's rebounded by the Billikens. Avila over in the corner, now driving inside as Thames. He gets cut off and will send it back outside. Sharma gives it to Avila for three. That's no good. Offensive rebound, St. Louis. And going up with it, and it's blocked. Fordham comes out with the ball. Jacobs sends it outside for a deep three that is good. Marcus Green gets his first 3 points of the game with that three-point shot, and it makes it a 54-40 lead for St. Louis. Quentin Jones brings it up the floor for the Billikens. Sharma in the corner. Sharma looking for some help. Gets it over to Avila. Avila spins. Avila throws it up, gets fouled. Does not get the basket, but he will shoot two with 12:44 to go. Avila at the line. First of two is no good. One more coming. And Avila does hit the second. 55-40. Billiken lead is 15 as we near 12 and a half to go. Henry up the floor for Fordham. Henry spins, gets underneath, and will put it in with the right hand. Christian Henry now has a dozen. And Fordham's cut it to 13 here at 55-42. Avila. Outside it goes. Avila for three. No. Rebound Fordham. Akira Jacobs with the Fordham rebound. Now Christian Henry with it. Henry drives. Henry sends it outside to Marcus Green. Green back to Henry. 10 to shoot for Fordham. Henry tries to drive and gets fouled. They're going to get Avila with the hand check foul, his second. And with 11:40 to go, we've got the under 12 timeout. Billikens 55-42 over Fordham. Billikens, with a few empty trips on offensively, have now fallen under 50% shooting at 49%. Fordham still not shooting the ball well. They're at 35. (26-25) edge on the glass for Fordham, a slight edge there, but 12 of the 26 rebounds have been of the offensive variety. Christian Henry and DeJour Reeves, 12 points apiece. Leading the way for Fordham, Kellen Thames off the bench, still the leading scorer for the Billikens with 14. So set to resume here out of the timeout. Fordham to inbound underneath the basket. Reeves will pull up. Reeves off the front rim. No, tip won't go. Out of bounds. It's going to stay with Fordham as the Billikens knock it out. Inbound underneath the basket. In it comes to Jack Whitbourne. Whitbourne backing his way in. I'm sorry, excuse me. That's Schulte. Sends it outside for a three. That's a brick. Rebound to St. Louis. And inside for a bucket. And one for Paul Otinho. Otinho will have a chance to complete a three-point play. He does not, as he missed the free throw. Rebound to Schulte. And then over the back on the rebound on Dion Brown. That's his third. So Dion Brown, the first player tonight to reach 3 personal fouls. Reeves brings it up the floor for Fordham. Fordham in a 15-point hole as we just passed the 11-minute mark here in the second half. Reeves with it. Reeves looking for room. Reeves drives. Layup, no. Tip in, however, is good. Didn't see who that was on the tip in. It might have been Schulte. 57-44. McCautry with it on the outside for St. Louis. McCautry off to Brown for three. No. Rebound, knocked out of bounds. It's going to go the other way to Fordham. Now some press being shown by the Billikens. Marcus Green will bring it up the floor. Green on the drive. Green gets inside, gets cut off, sends it back outside. A three-pointer is no good. Rebound pulled down by St. Louis. So both teams in a little bit of a field goal drought here right now. With exactly 10 minutes remaining. Fordham knocks it out of bounds. It's going to stay with the Billikens. In it comes to McCautry. Thames spins inside. Thames the turnaround and puts it in. Kellen Thames with 16 tonight. He's almost doubled his season scoring average of 9.9. 59-44 St. Louis. Christian Henry with it on the Billikens logo for Fordham. Henry looking. Henry hasn't knocked away but retreats. 8 to shoot for Fordham. Henry drives. Henry sends it back out. A three-pointer by Marcus Green is a brick. And then an over-the-back foul on Fordham on the rebound. Boy, Fordham's shots these last few trips down the floor have not even been close. Billikens bring it up the floor with a comfortable 15-point lead. Bounce pass inside, and now outside it goes to Brown. 4-3, around and out. Offensive rebound, St. Louis. And the Billikens will reset. And a three-pointer is good and one. A foul on a 3 and 1. Ishan Sharma hits the 3 and got fouled in the process. So a chance for a 4-point play. And it's good. Lead for St. Louis is 19, 63-44. Henry with it for Fordham. Now on the outside is Reeves. Whitbourne tries a three-pointer. That's banked no good off the glass. And we have got ourselves a tie-up. Billikens bringing up the floor. This is McCautry bringing it up across the midcourt stripe. McCautry with it. McCautry alley-oop pass inside was knocked away. McCautry gets the loose ball and will back it out and reset. 10 to shoot, though, for St. Louis. Off balance, 3 around and out. Rebound pulled down by Fordham. Henry tries a three. That's no good. Tipped out. And a new 20 seconds for Fordham behind the back. And Whitbourne can't finish. A point-blank layup, and Whitbourne could not finish it. Thames with it for the Billikens. Thames drives. Thames lost it momentarily. Gets it back. And we'll send it back outside. This is now Dion Brown. Inside it goes. Shot will go down. Paulotinho with his second field goal. Timeout called. Billikens have their largest lead of the night now at 21, 65-44 with 7:12 to go in the second half. So the Billikens look like they're well on their way to win number 10 in a row. Updating some of these scores for you while we have a timeout. And we have an upset in the top 25. It has just gone final in Athens. In overtime, Ole Miss knocks off number 21, Georgia, 97-95. So Ole Miss does it to Georgia again, just like they did in the college football playoff quarterfinals. It's Fordham to inbound here out of the timeout. Inbound bounce pass. Reeves. Ball knocked away momentarily, and Fordham will reset. Reeves drives. Reeves, the runner inside, gets it to go. Reeves now with 14. Team high tonight for Fordham. Jones over to McCautry for the Billikens. McCautry back to Jones. Jones has an open three. Around and in. It went around and then bounced through. The Billikens' 11th three-pointer tonight. 68-46. Reeves. Over it goes to Henry. Henry will try a three. That's no good. Offensive rebound. Put back by Schulte. No good. Rebound pulled down by McCautry. McCautry will try a three. That's an air ball. And out of bounds it goes to Fordham with 5:56 to go. 5:56 left. St. Louis 68. Fordham 46. Fordham down to 31% shooting now, 18 of 58. 6 of 23 from three-point range at 26%. They're shooting 4 for 7 from the free throw line, 57%. Billikens still at 50%, 24 of 48 from the floor, 11 of 27 from three-point range, 41%. And they are 9 of 12 at the free throw line for 75%. Slight rebound edge for Fordham by 2, 34-32. Rams being led by DeJour Reeves, 14 points tonight. 12 points out of Christian Henry, the two in double figures tonight for Fordham. Akira Jacobs, Jack Whitbourne, 5 points apiece. Rikus Schulte with 4. Louis Lesmond and Marcus Green, both off the bench, have 3 points. So Rikus Schulte, who averages almost 12 points a game on the season for Fordham, he's been held to 4 points tonight. Meanwhile, for the Billikens, their leading scorer off the bench tonight, Kellen Thames, with 16 points. He averages 9.9 a game, so he may be the 6th Billiken now on the season to average in double figures. 11 points out of Quentin Jones, the 2 in double figures for St. Louis. 9 out of Robbie Avila. 8 out of Brady Dunlap. 7 apiece from Amari McCautry and Ishan Sharma. 6 points out of Dion Brown and 4 points for Paul Otinho. As the Billikens enjoy a big lead here over Fordham with 5:56 to go. Fordham to inbound. And they get it in here to Marcus Green. Green gives it off to Henry. Henry with the dribble at the Billikens logo at midcourt. Henry. And here's the drive. No good, but a foul is called. And that will send Akira Jacobs to the line. And Brady Dunlap with the foul. That's going to be his third. So Dunlap and Dion Brown, 3 fouls apiece for the Billikens. And to the free throw line is Akira Jacobs for Fordham. First is up and good. Second free throw is also good. Jacobs now has 7 points. The lead for the Billikens is 20, 68-48. Outside here to Sharma. Billikens working on a little bit of the clock this possession. Here's Avila. Outside to Quentin Jones. Outside, Sharma for 3. Back rim, no. Rebound Fordham. Well, he had an open look there, but just couldn't get it to drop. Henry. 5 minutes to go. Henry on the drive. Henry looking for a shot. Gets cut off. Has to send it back outside to Reeves. Reeves finds Henry in the corner for 3. That's off the front of the rim. Fordham now 6 of 24 from three-point range. Back come the Billikens. Here's Avila with it. And getting cut off, St. Louis throws it away. Fordham with a fast break, and Reeves will lay it in. He's got 16 tonight now. 68-50. Alley-oop at the other end is converted. The lob to Quentin Jones. And the lead back to 20, 70-50. Four minutes to go. Henry looking. Henry drives. Henry sends it outside to Green. Green will give it off to a three-pointer at the top of the key for Jacobs. That's no good. Rebound pulled down by the Billikens. Billikens going to be very, very patient on the offensive end. Try and work on that clock. And right as I say that, a hard drive inside, and a foul is called. Final media timeout hits with 3:37 to go. Billikens on their way to 16-1 as they lead by 20, 70-50. So the Billikens about 3.5 minutes away from staying undefeated in A10 play and about to get their 10th win in a row. St. Louis has a game against the Richmond Spiders at home coming up on Saturday. Fordham will head back home. And entertain Duquesne on Saturday afternoon. Those are the next games up for both these teams. Looks like a very real possibility in this game. If I'm looking at the scores so far this year, well, I was going to say it was looking very possible that St. Louis may have close to their lowest scoring game of the year in this one. They did have. It's a team that, again, scores 93 a game. They've had 2 games this year where they've scored 71. That's been their lowest output of the season. Now, 71-70 win over Santa Clara. That was in that Acrisure Invitational Thanksgiving tournament. And they scored 71 last Wednesday in a win at VCU. 71. It's been the low score of the year for St. Louis. So to the line here goes Sharma for the Billikens. First free throw up and good. Sharma will have one more free throw. That one's short. Rebound pulled down by Fordham. Down to 3.5 to go. Reeves with it. Reeves finds over to Akira Jacobs. Over to Kingston Price, who checked in for the first time at the timeout for Fordham. They'd only used 7 players tonight until Kingston Price came in. Reeves, the runner in the paint, is no good. And shot clock is going to expire. That shot did not hit the rim. And it'll be a shot clock violation against Fordham. Here comes Jones, bringing it up the floor for the Billikens. Jones finds McCautry. McCautry looking for help, sends it outside to Dunlap. And now the spin outside to McCautry for 3. It is good. Amari Kotri becomes the fourth Billiken now in double figures tonight. Outside here is Kingston Price. Fordham working it around the arc. They go inside here to Schulte. Schulte guarded by Thames. Schulte puts it up with the right hand and scores. Rika Schulte now with a half dozen. 74-52. Thames. Outside it goes to Dunlap. Dunlap hard off the glass. And he's now in double figures with 10. Coach Shirt's starting to clear the bench a little bit as Thames will come out. Jax Kerr comes in for the first time, as does Cam Hudson for the Billikens. And we have a foul outside. This one's going to go against Dion Brown. That'll be his fourth. Brown not too pleased with that call. DeJour Reeves will head to the line for Fordham. So it'll be a 1-1. First is up and good. One more coming. Got that one. 76-54. Billikens in front. McCautry tries to go inside. Fordham knocks it out of bounds with exactly 100 seconds remaining. Billikens get it in. Looking for a shot here. Cam Hudson tries a three. It's off the back rim. Rebound pulled down by Fordham. And we have a foul. That one's going to be on Brady Dunlap. That's his fourth. Dunlap will exit with 4 fouls to a nice hand from the Billiken faithful. Showed up tonight, an outstanding crowd at Chaffetz Arena for a Wednesday night. First free throw up and good. One more free throw coming for Akira Jacobs. Got them both. He's got 9. 76-56. Brown. Final minute. This is Brown. Kerr blocked out of bounds with 11 on the shot clock. Sharma outside to McCautry. McCautry spins. McCautry puts it up and scores. 78-56. Corner three-pointer short Rebound to the Billikens. Shot clock is off, and the Billikens are probably just going to dribble the rest of this out. McCautry is just dribbling. Crowd rises to their feet at Chaffetz Arena as the Billikens are going to win for the 10th straight time. As the horn sounds, as the Billikens win this one going away, 78-56, the final score. St. Louis defeats Fordham. Billikens win their 10th in a row and improve to 16-1 overall. 4-0 in the A10. Fordham will fall to 10-8 on the season, 1-4 in A10 play. Fordham did hold St. Louis to a tie for their third lowest point total of the season, if you want to get any good thing about this game for Fordham. Before we sign off, let's run down the final stats here real quick for this one. For the Billikens, they end up shooting 51% from the floor at 28 of 55. They were 12 of 30 from three-point range at 40%. 10 of 14 at the free throw line for 71%. For Fordham, they were 20 of 64 from the floor, just 31% shooting tonight. 6 of 26 from three-point range, 23%. And 10 of 13 at the free throw line for 77%. Rebound edge, pretty tight. Fordham had a slight edge on the glass, 37-36. 16 offensive rebounds for Fordham tonight, though. Individual scoring, the leading scorer tonight for the Billikens, 16 points out of Kellen Thames, 13 points. And I forgot to mention this during the game tonight, and I apologize. Quentin Jones, 13 points tonight. With those 13 points, he surpassed the 1,000 career point mark tonight at St. Louis. So big congratulations to Quentin Jones tonight on surpassing that milestone of 1,000 career points. 12 points out of Amari McCautry and 10 out of Brady Dunlap, the 4 in double figures tonight for St. Louis. 9 points out of Robbie Avila, 8 out of Ishan Sharma, 6 points out of Dion Brown, and 4 points out of Paul Otinho to wrap up the scoring for St. Louis. For Fordham, they were led by DeJour Reeves, 18 points tonight, their leading scorer. Christian Henry added 12. Only 2 in double figures that Fordham put in double figures tonight. 9 points out of Akira Jacobs, 6 points out of Rikas Schulte, 5 out of Jack Whitbourne, and 3 points apiece from Lewis Lesmond and Marcus Green. To wrap up the scoring for the Fordham Rams as the Billikens win it 78-56 tonight over Fordham to improve once again to 16-1 on the season. They are 4-0 in A10 play. Fordham now 10-8 overall, 1-4 in A10 play. Fordham now has lost 4 of their last 5. Well, that's going to wrap it up tonight on the live stream. Again, my name is John on YouTube, Sports Bonanza John. If you do like my content, would really appreciate a like and subscribe from you. Also on Kick at Sports Kick John, you can follow me there. You can also follow me on Twitch at Sport Guru John. Do have some content on Twitch, and we'll be posting more here as the season goes on. Again, be back with you tomorrow night for some more college basketball action out of Conference USA. The 13-3 Liberty Flames hosting the Aggies of New Mexico State. That is coming up tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern time on that live stream for that New Mexico State Liberty game out of Conference USA. Well, thank you for joining me tonight, and hopefully tune in tomorrow once again for more college basketball action. That New Mexico State Liberty live stream I will be on just before 6 o'clock, just for the tip-off. Just before the tip-off of the game. Appreciate you joining me, and hopefully you can join me here real soon in the future. Thanks for joining.